Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to start talking about multiplying decimals. Now, we need to multiply decimals by hand. Again, we have to have the process down, not because you can't just type it into a calculator. That's what I've done right here. I've just taken 6.32 times 1.3, thrown it into a calculator, it gives me the answer. And that's fine. The problem is when we have to apply the method for long multiplication to an algebra problem with x's in it, we're going to have to know the method and know it well enough to be able to do it when it's no longer numbers but actual letters. So we're trying to increase those higher order thinking skills using foundational skills, Common Core. With that, we're going to take this problem and do it in a second. I don't want to do it yet. What I'm going to do is an easier problem. 632 times 13. So I'm ignoring the decimals right now. I just want to practice my long multiplication. To do that, I've stacked them up vertically. And I have the ones spot right here. I'm going to take that ones spot first times the ones. Well, ones times ones, 3 times 2 is 6. I'm going to put it right here. Then I'm going to take the ones times the tens. 3 times 3, that's going to be 9, and it's going to go right underneath the 10 spot. Then we're going to say 3 times 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Now again, 18 is too big, so I have to carry the 1 over, put an 8. Now, that is simply multiplying ones times ones, 1 times tens, 1 times 100, because 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 10 is the 10. 1 times 100 is the 100 spot. It's a base 10 system, folks, so they have to stay in line. Now, that is important when we start talking about this, because I'm now done with the 3. I want to work with the 1. Well, the 1 is already 13. So it's not really 1, it's really 10 with 3. So you have the 10 spot. So I'm going to say 1 times 2 is 2, and because I started in the tens, I need to put my answer right here in the tens. Alternatively, you may have thought about it in your previous classes, in your previous elementary school, as don't forget to put a 0. But the real reason we put that 0 there is because it's actually in the tens spot. So 10 times 1 is tens. 10 times tens is hundreds. So 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 6 is 6. And in all cases, we now add them up. So 6. Now 9 and 2 is 11, so I put 1 down here and I carry 1 up here. Well, 8 and 3 is 11, plus 1 more is 12, so I have to carry another one. So 1 plus 1 plus 6. That's going to be 8. So my answer is 8,216. With that, I'm ready to actually go over here and do the multiplication of decimals. And I say, well, it's harder because it has decimals in it. It's not, though. We still just put them together. Now, when we added, if you'll remember, when we were adding, the decimals had to line up. But in multiplication, we don't care. We treat this problem just like this one, where there's no decimals at all. So here, got to make sure you write your problem right. I almost made a mistake. 3 times 2, because it's 1.3. 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 3, 9. 3 times 6, 18. Because we're in the tens, we leave a spot. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 6 is 6. Then I add them up. 6. 11, 12, don't forget to put the 1 up there, 8. But it's not 8,216 because I took something that was about 6 times something less than 2. 6 times 2 is way less than 8,000. What I have to do is count up how many decimal places I have. There are 1, 2, 3 numbers that are tucked behind decimals. Another way to think about it is 1 behind a decimal, 2 behind a decimal, 3 behind a decimal. So in my answer, there better be a matching number. So 1, 2, 3 behind the decimal. So 8.216. Well, that makes sense. Since we started at about 6, we're going to end up at about 8. Now, that's kind of the slow method. Let's do one more for good practice. 1, 3, 5, 2. So let's go 13.52 times. And I'm going to use a star just so I don't mistake it for an X later in algebra. And I'm going to do 4.3. Now, 3 times 2, 6. 3 times 5, 15. 3 times 3 is 9. Put a 1 up here is 10. Put a 1 up here. I got 3 times 3 is 3. Plus 1 more is 4. Done with this one. Don't forget to leave a space. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 5 is actually 20. So 0 here with a 2 up top. It's 12 plus 2 is 14. Put a 1 up top. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 5. Add it all together. 6, 3, 1, 8, 5. And how many places behind the decimal? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So my decimal goes right there. That is decimal multiplication.